What is going on, guys? We are back with our first ever podcast. Now, I'm here with my co-host, Max, from Another Apple News. Go ahead, Max. You can say hi.
What is going on, listeners or people who are watching this? This is our first podcast using Google Plus Hangouts. Now, I'm looking forward to this. I mean, we have a lot of good ideas to share with you guys and a lot of news that we should catch you guys up on, because that's our main job for this podcast.
Right, and this is, we're actually going to be doing this every single Saturday, and we're going to be doing this live, and then we will edit it and push it out on YouTube on Sunday, hopefully, if everything goes well.
Edit it
yeah.
in that time.
Except for some exceptions, like maybe one of us is going on vacation or whatever. But we will update you, on that when we need to. But anyhow, so this is our first podcast. It is available live. If you're watching this on YouTube right now, just remember that every Saturday we will be on Google Plus Hangouts. We will be live streaming for you guys. So this is episode 1. So we have a lot to talk about, don't we?
Yep.
Yeah. So, Max, where do you want to start? You can pick.
Well, there's a lot of good topics to talk about, but I think we should go with, the older news first. So I'll start this out if you don't mind.
Sure.
7 years ago today, the original iPhone released.
Now, this is a few days ago we're talking about. So
January 9th, 2014.
Right. So, this is old news already. So yes, it's been officially 7 years since Steve Jobs went up on the stage and announced the first ever iPhone, which changed
everything. How about a round of applause?
No, but seriously, it does really show you how much, 7 years really does. I mean, look at from where the iPhone first launched, the day it launched, to now. I mean, look how much has changed, both in Apple's perspective and, even Samsung, with their Android. I mean, even though they're not going to come out with statements saying that they were inspired by Apple, it's a little, assumed that some of their smartphones were inspired a little bit by Apple, just the way it works. I know the Android OS is different than iOS, obviously, because then they would get sued, for having the same OS. But, so it's just crazy to, see how far, jailbreaking and Apple and everything, technology itself has come in the last 7 years. And we'll probably be saying that in the next 7 years. So, I mean...
14 years. Wow.
Yeah.
I can already see it.
Yeah.
2018.
Yeah. And there was another story. The original iPhone, I believe, sold for, how much was it? It sold about a couple of weeks ago, and it sold for, let's see, I'm just going to look this up real fast, because I'm looking on Twitter here. The original, I want to say the original iPhone, let's see, I'm going to pull it up, but I think the original iPhone sold for, I want to say a couple thousand. I don't know if that's true or not, but I'm trying to see. I can't find the tweet. But last I heard, it sold on auction. One of the first ever, first day iPhones when it launched, it sold for a couple thousand. So to have an old phone like that to go for a couple $1,000s, that's pretty, that's a pretty big deal. So, what else do we have? So I guess
Jailbreak.
Oh, yes.
Evasi0n7, going with old news here.
Yes.
And then we'll bring in the new news.
Yes, we have the Evasi0n7 Jailbreak. Now no one really actually knew this was going to launch. This came as a surprise to everyone. And I think when we say everyone, we really mean everyone. Like, literally, Saurik himself, Jay Freeman, which is his real name, he's the guy who developed Cydia. He did not even know that they were going to release the jailbreak. So that really tells you that no one except for the evaders knew. That's how private it was. No one except the evaders knew that it was coming out. So, I mean, that's a pretty big deal that they hid it from so many people, that they hid leaks.
Like a top secret job.
Right. So I guess we'll talk about our stories. So first I'll talk about mine, and then Max, you can share.
Okie dokie.
So, all right. So I believe the tool dropped, I want to say around 3 or 4 a.m. So I woke up at around 8 a.m. and I don't know why. I had a hunch, had a gut feeling that something was, there was going to be some tweet updating us on the iOS 7 jailbreak, or, the iOS 6.1.3 jailbreak was, there was no ETA for that. But, Christmas was coming up soon, and I figured there was going to be some announcement of some jailbreak, whether it was the iOS 7 jailbreak, an ETA for that, or an ETA for the iOS 6 jailbreak. So I wasn't exactly sure what it was, but I opened up my computer, and this is where this was, I believe, like one of the first weeks that IDB pushed out their push notifications for Mac OS X Mavericks, and I have Mavericks, so I actually had push notifications. So I got a push notification as soon as I opened my computer that said Evasi0n7. So right when I saw, the name Evasi0n, I got all excited because I knew I had seen, Evasi0n6, and I knew all about that. So I went right on to IDB's website and I checked. And I basically called, I read the first line, and I called, it was about 8 in the morning. Keep in mind, this was a Saturday, this was winter break. So not a lot of, we're mid teenagers, so not a lot of teenagers, want to be woken up at around 8 o'clock in the morning, even for jailbreak news. But I think you don't, I don't think you regret it.
No, I don't actually.
Yeah.
So it's been better.
Yeah. So I called him at around 8 o'clock, and I said, Max, you're never going to believe this. I said, check IDB right now. And then, so he was like, all right. So he went on IDB, and he said, oh, my God, the jailbreak, it's finally here. I said, I know. And I said, I'm going to jailbreak my phone. So I pushed out a jailbreak tutorial, and I guess the rest is history. But I'm gonna let I know there's a little bit more on that story, but I'm gonna let Max share a little bit more because I want him to be involved because it is both. It's he's my co-host, so I want him to be sort of involved in this. So Max, go ahead, tell us your story.
Well, David's story kind of ties into the beginning of my story. So as he said, he texted me at around 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock. Would you say?
Yeah, I'd say about 8:30 maybe. Maybe it was 8:45, I'd say.
Yeah. So his text message didn't wake me up. I was already up because I get up early for some reason. It's a school day routine because I always wake up at 7 when I went during school. But anyway, so I woke up, saw a text message from David because whenever I fall asleep early, David texts me stuff. Like today, Springtomize 3, which we'll talk about. But,
yes, we'll talk about that soon.
To finish my story, he texted me, check IDB, you'll never believe what is out. So I thought, what could it be? Really? Because I had no clue. So I went on iDownload blog. I couldn't believe what I saw. First article, Evasi0n7 drops new iOS 7 jailbreak. And I was like, oh my God, we have been waiting for this for too long. Well, at least since iOS 7 came out. But me and David were both happy and very excited. And I jailbreaked that day after he told me that everything was good. And then I pushed my jailbreak tutorial out a week after, but I currently re-uploaded a new one. Check that out. Link will be down in the description.
Yes, link will be down in the description, as well as for my tutorial. Now, I'm not trying to compete with Max here, but we did both make tutorials. So my tutorial will be down in the description. It is also on my channel, since this is going to go up on Mac tutorials. And I put also, since it's a little bit more convenient, you guys can click on my, even though I'll have a link to his video, if you happen to click on my tutorial, I also have his tutorial linked in case you want to go ahead and watch that as well. Now, I did help him edit that. We sat together, we collaborated, I'd say yesterday at around 7, 8 o'clock. And it took us probably till around 10:30ish, 11 to get done.
But the final piece is a very nice tutorial.
Except with what he had. I mean, the race, the whatever you call it, the screen size wasn't the best. He recorded it. He didn't record it full screen, but I did what we could do, and it looks fantastic. So go ahead. Link will be down in the description for both of our tutorials as well as for Max's. So go ahead and watch that. But Max, do you want to pick our next topic?
Sure thing. I can get right on that. Well, the iPhone 6. I think that's a reasonable topic to talk about.
Yes, the iPhone 6. Now, that's been rumored about for a really long time. But this came as sort of a surprise to me, and I'm not sure if it came as a surprise to you or not. But really, it's been, I want to say, like 2.5 months since the iPhone.
That's what I thought, the same exact thing. Like, really? Apple, a new iPhone? Like, usually you release one every 2 years, every year. But right now, in January?
Yeah.
Well, these are just rumors, but it's still...
Yeah. So, different rumors came out, and I found it, surprising that rumors would come out now, considering it's been 2 months, really, since the iPhone 5S came out. So, Apple's always trying to, think about, what their next phone is going to be, even when I'm sure they had this, planned, back when probably the iPhone 5 released. I'm sure they had some sort of concept for the iPhone 6. I'm sure of it, because Apple likes to, plan, years ahead. They probably already have the iTV in development right now. So, yeah. Anyway, so the iPhone 6, let's talk about some of the speculation. So I guess we'll start out with the fact that it's supposed to have actually a bigger screen. So let's just see here. I'm going on Twitter just to see again. Okay, so iPhone 6 is said to feature an 8-megapixel camera again with improved image stabilization. So it's also it looks like it's also gonna feature a increased display. So there are leaks of what the I almost said 5, what the iPhone 6 looks like. Apparently, it's supposed to look ultra thin, and they said not very Apple-like. So that's something very different. Now Apple might be going for a change. Who knows? From the 3GS to the 4, that was a major change. They changed the shape of the device. How the device runs. They changed the iOS of it. So I mean, it's different. There's different concepts of it. Now it's supposed to have an increased display of, I believe, 4.9 inches. So that's pretty big. Especially since it's most likely to wrap around the entire frame of the device. So it's not going to be, where just the camera, the screen cuts off and then it's the camera. It's going to be wrapped around the entire device, which is pretty cool. So, when should we expect to see that? Well, I'd probably expect to see that. They're probably going to make a keynote sometime in September, like this year. If, everything goes as planned, like it always does. There should be a keynote in September, and then in October they should release it sometime in October. But you never know with Apple. It could be as early as tomorrow or as late as 2015. You never even know. So that's what I'm saying. So what else should we talk about? Let's see. Let's move on to some jailbreak tweaks. So the first jailbreak tweak I want to talk about is a tweak that's timeless, and it never really goes away, which is Barrel. And Barrel originally was not updated to support iOS 7 because of the fact that Substrate, mobile Substrate, was not updated, which is now known as Cydia Substrate. It got a new name.
Yay!
Saurik actually renamed it to Cydia Substrate. So we'll talk about that in a little while. But basically, when Cydia Substrate came out, they pushed out a update for Barrel, which supported iOS 7, the iPhone 5, the iPhone 5S, all the newest devices with 64-bit compatibility, which is pretty awesome considering the fact that, it really hasn't, the jailbreak hasn't been out for that long. So it's nice that they finally got out of the woodwork there and they finally got it. So let's talk a little bit about Cydia Substrate. Now, this was formerly known as Mobile Substrate back, I guess, a month ago, you would say, before it came out. But they pushed out an update, I'd say, I think it was after Christmas? Was it New Year's? I forget. When was it?
I think it was like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, it was somewhere. I think it was somewhere between New Year's and Christmas. I'm not sure if it was maybe it was after New Year's. I don't exactly remember. But he just basically pushed an update, and what that allowed users to do is for 64-bit devices such as the iPhone 5S and the iPad Mini Retina, you are now able to basically anything that has mobile substrate, you are now able to run that. So that includes Barrel and a lot of other tweaks, which is very nice. And now it's basically the ball was in Saurik's court, with the whole Cydia substrate update. But now he sort of just threw the ball back at the developers. So now it's a question of whether the developers are ready for something like this or not. So the ball's in the developers' court right now, as of right now. So anyhow, we do have a lot of tweaks to talk about because in the last few weeks it's been crazy on tweaks, crazy. So I guess for one of the tweaks that we have to start out on is probably BiteSMS. Now that's I know Max, that's really one of my and your favorite tweaks for iOS 7. I think it's optimized great for it. Now, if you don't know BiteSMS, it's basically what it is it's basically a messaging app. And you can actually quick reply to messages without having to go into the Messages app. It replaces the default messages with BiteSMS, and basically you do an activator gesture, and it actually allows you to respond in an application, at the home screen, at the lock screen, all without actually being in the Messages app itself, which is really nice. And so yeah, so it is currently in beta right now, the 8.0. I think it's only in beta for iOS 7. The link, the repo will be down in the description below if you guys want to install that. It is the latest beta. Actually, it supports the iPhone 5S now, the latest beta. So it's really awesome, and I'm glad they finally pushed out BiteSMS. So if you guys remember correctly, actually, BiteSMS got pushed out a little while ago. A couple weeks ago, actually, and then before that, there was talk about it being released, and then it got released, I'd say, for a few hours, and then the developers of BiteSMS pulled it back. They pulled it down from the repo and said, how can we let this by us? It was leaked. We don't want people getting, their hands on this. This is a very early stage of the beta. It's really, really buggy, and it crashes a lot. And it's not really good right now, so there'll be an update in a few days that'll make it better, but for right now we're going to drop it. So what do you think, Max? Do you like BiteSMS? I know you really like it, so what are your opinions on it?
I like the whole concept behind it. I mean, they had good intentions to make it something that's good, because like if David sends me a text when I'm watching a YouTube video, I can quick reply in that video, so then I just press send, and I don't even have to go to the multitasking thing and then text him back from there, which has made my life a lot easier.
Right. And so yeah, same for me. So I think I think they did a fantastic job. And yeah, so BiteSMS, I'm not sure when that's going to be coming to the default Cydia repos, but we'll have to see. Probably, I would guess that right now it could even be launched tomorrow. That's how good it is, and it's really not even that buggy anymore because they pushed out so many betas for it. So at this point, at this step in the game, I'd say that it's really not even that buggy, and that I think they'd be ready to push out the first version of it on the default Cydia repo as early as tomorrow. So what's the next thing we have to talk about? Do you want to pick the next topic?
Sure. RePower? I think that's something. Tweak
Yes, RePower. Now, RePower came out a little while ago. It came out, I want to say, it came out a couple of days ago in Cydia, and it's in the default repo. If you guys want to install it, it's in the default repo.
I just got it for my phone.
Yeah. And so I also have it for my phone. So now that we both have it, I can sort of give you your opinion on it. So what's your opinion on RePower? Because I always explain the tweaks, so you can explain what it is, and then I'll let you say what your opinion of it is, and then I'll say what mine is.
Okay. So it looks like I have the floor for this tweak. So basically, usually if you respring your device, you would have to reinstall a tweak, which would then respring it. But now with this RePower tweak, if you install it from the BigBoss repo, I think it was, and it was
Yes.
featured on Cydia. If you just hold down your your on/off button at the top of your Apple device, then it'll come up reboot or respring, and you can still slide to turn the power off. And then I just got this, so I didn't figure out what the days, hours, and minutes are yet.
I'm not exactly sure either, but I have a feeling. Now, Battery Doctor Pro, I don't know if that's updated or not, but that actually is an old tweak available for iOS 6, and it allows you to look at how much battery life you have, what you can do on it, and basically, essentially, how much longer your phone can run for, how much longer you have in battery life wise. So
This
I'm not.
says 11 hours and 24 minutes, and I have 44%. So
So I'm not exactly sure if that's for battery wise or what that's for. So I guess we'll know as things progress. It is a newly it just came out, I believe, like 2 or 3 days ago. So it's a newly tweak that just came out. It's a brand new tweak. So it's pretty cool. So the next thing I'm going to talk about is it's called MusicalSwitcher. Now that's probably one of the weirdest tweaks I've seen come out of Cydia. Now, to tell you the truth, I do like this tweak, and I think it's a cool tweak. There's really no functionality for it, like a useful functionality. So, it's really for, if you're bored, if you're somewhere, if you're traveling or you're somewhere and you're bored, you really don't have anything to do. It's one of those sort of tweaks that you could just fool around with when you're bored. And I think, those tweaks are pretty cool. But basically, essentially what it allows you to do is when you double tap to open up the app switcher, it actually allows you to, instead of swiping up to clear up the apps, when you swipe down on the card, on one of the cards for the apps, it will actually play a piano note. And now you can actually at the same time you can actually drag down multiple, which is pretty cool, and that makes actually a note and a key or whatever. I'm not a piano perfectionist, so I don't know all this stuff. But yeah, I think it's pretty cool. I've had some time to fool around with it. It's pretty cool. Again, one of probably the weirdest tweaks I've seen come out of Cydia. So again, I just think it's pretty cool. And so yeah, so that's MusicalSwitcher. So what do you think? What do you think? What do you think out of it, Max?
MusicalSwitcher. Well, you said like it was one of the out of the ordinary out of the ordinary tweaks. So I'm not sure that if I will get it, because it's like one of the tweaks that's like for fun, something that you like you said, want to do if you're bored, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So next topic.
Yes. Okay. So the next topic we have to talk about is the next topic. The next topic we have to talk about is Bloard. Now, Bloard. Essentially, what Bloard does is, if you guys have been running iOS 7 for a while and you guys are techs like us, then you might realize that there is only a dark keyboard for selective applications, which means essentially it gives you a white keyboard for most of the stock applications. So in iOS 7.1, basically essentially what that's going to allow you to do is be able to pick the dark keyboard functionality in it, so you can use a dark keyboard if you like. So the reason why this tweak actually exists is because major exploits were released in different jailbreaks, and no one knows for sure, but it looks like at this step in the game, we might not be seeing an iOS 7.1 jailbreak for a while, which is why for people that stay on it, they're not going to get that functionality remotely, so they need to have a tweak to be able to do that, to be able to enable it, which is where Bloard comes in. So, I mean, it's a pretty cool tweak. Like I said, not much functionality. It's really for fashion. It looks pretty cool. I don't really notice a difference between that and the stock dark keyboard that comes on 7.1. Have you had a chance to test that out yet?
No, not yet.
No? So really it doesn't do anything that big of a deal. But it's a pretty cool tweak to have, and I kind of like it. So anyway, I think the next topic we have is what's the next topic? Let's see.
PacMan?
Yes. So PacMan went free. No, it went free yesterday on the App Store. It is the app of the week. So I believe it was 99 cents before it went free, but currently now, as of the recording of this video, since we're doing it live, if any of you guys are watching at home right now, if you guys are watching live, then all you got to do is go into the App Store and download it for free. It is free while supplies last, like I said. I think it's only free till Sunday, so you have like another day to pick it up. So I would say if you're, on the fence about picking it up, at least pick it up now, and then if you want to delete it later, you can. That way it'll be in your iCloud, storage, so if you ever want to, install it again, you don't have to pay for it. You can just install it right off your iCloud. So next thing we have to talk about is Evasi0n. Now, Evasi0n, we already talked about that. It's Evasi0n7, essentially the tool that helps you achieve jailbreak functionality on your device. Now, if you guys have been following the jailbreak scene, iOS 7.1 Beta 3 came out, and some developer actually came out with an iOS 7, an Evasi0n7 fix that supported Beta 3. Now, 1.1.2 did not support Beta 3. So, actually, Evasi0n7 1.0.3 just launched. It launched today. So it's out with support for iOS 7.1 Beta 3, and it also fixes the Retina iPad Mini boot loop fix. So you guys know about that. If you guys were running a Retina iPad Mini while you were jailbreaking, you might have seen an a weird boot loop, a weird Apple boot loop, but that is fixed in this current version of Evasi0n7. So if you're having any problems like that, I would say download 1.1.3 immediately and jailbreak using that version of Evasi0n7, and you should encounter no issues. Now, the only thing that I have to warn you guys about, there's actually two things, is first I would want to say, before you do anything, I want to tell you guys to back up your device. That is essential, because you want to make sure if anything happens, you want to make sure you do not lose anything. You do not lose anything. So if anything happens and it, for some reason it screws up your device, you can restore without losing anything and you won't be worried. That's the first thing. The second thing is that if you just updated from iOS 6 to iOS 7 OTA and you're experiencing a boot loop while jailbreaking, you need to do a fresh restore of iOS 7. Unfortunately, it's a bug that the evaders have not worked out yet. It'll probably be worked out in the next version of Evasi0n7, but I don't know when that's going to be pushed out, seeing as 1.0.3 just got pushed out today, so I don't know when they're going to release the other one. But 1.1.3 also bundled in Saurik's version of Cydia. So if you guys know, Cydia 1.1.9 was actually not bundled in with Evasi0n7, and it was actually not there first. Basically, essentially what had happened is, because of the fact that they dropped it so, out of the blue, Saurik did not know, and he did not have a chance to update the builds for Cydia to be able to go ahead and push out a build for them so that there would be a brand new Cydia UI for iOS 7. So basically, essentially, I'd say a week or so later, he pushed out an update for Cydia version 1.1.9, and basically it allows you, it gives back the iOS 7 UI, and it just generally looks a lot better than the ported iOS 7 crappy, iOS 6, I should say, ported iOS 6 crappy version of it. So what do you think, Max? Do you think it was worth it that they did that? What do you think?
Well, it definitely makes it look better, and it makes it fit in a lot more, because it poses as if it's like in with the gang, as you could say.
Right. So it is, and that is definitely something to look forward to, because I know it is a little bit of a pain, even though it's not that hard. It's not that hard to update it, but it is a little bit of a pain to update it. Because you gotta open that up, especially for iPad users, because if you want to turn it to the side, the ported Cydia that you get stock actually does not turn to the side, so you have to turn it straight to be able to use it, and then when you get the iOS 7 style UI of it, it actually will let you turn it. So that's something to look forward to. Well, it's not something to look forward to, but that's something nice that they updated. Um, so what next thing do we have to talk about? I know we talked about a lot. Oh, I know. So a preview came out from IDB, and it's not out yet. It will be out soon. Last I heard from Jeff, we're good for, no, not really, but I don't really know him, but that'd be awesome if I could connect with him through Google Plus. Someone could hook me up. That'd be awesome if one of you listeners out there knows Jeff Benjamin, or even Jeff Benjamin himself, or the crew from IDV, Sebastian, or anyone is listening. That'd be great. Our podcast is inspired by you. We always listen to your podcast, so we figured, why not? Let's make a podcast of our own. So this tweak is called ClassicSwitcher. Now, as I had said at the recording of this video, it is not currently on Cydia. So I know he didn't make it 100% clear, even though he did say preview in his video. I just want to make it clear so you guys, like me, don't go into Cydia and look up ClassicSwitcher automatically thinking, oh, it's there. It's so cool. I want to download it for my phone. Well, it's not available yet. So I will actually make a review on that when it's actually available, so you guys can check my channel. I will also post that video when it gets uploaded in the in the description box below. Go ahead and check that out. But anyway, basically it brings back the iOS 6 style app switcher, which I never thought we'd see back again. So that's pretty cool that they can, 100%, really 99.9% replicate that to look like the actual iOS 6 app switcher style. So I think that's really cool. And Jeff said there was some functionalities he couldn't show. But accidentally showed some functionality, but we saw only a glimpse of it, and he didn't really talk about what it was. But what do you think? Because I know you saw the video, and I know we both have talked about it. I know we both like it. So what do you think? What's your opinion about ClassicSwitcher?
I mean, I'm really looking forward to it. I mean, it's definitely a tweak that I'm going to get on my phone directly when it comes out. Something that is highly anticipated by the jailbreak community. I mean, it's like you're taking the new iOS thing, like iOS just got a new makeover. You're taking it and then you're going back to iOS 6. That's what I think of it about a little bit.
I mean, and that's really going to help. I know there's some iOS 6 Winterboard themes that you can download for iOS 7. That's really going to help make the iOS 7, iOS 6-ish, UI even that much better, because it's going to look a lot more convincing if you have the app switcher from iOS 6. And I think that's one of those tweaks that you could show off to your friends and say, look, I have iOS 7, but I really have I have iOS 6, but I really have iOS 7. I mean, that would just blow people's minds. So the next thing we have to talk about is Filippo Bigarella. Now, Filippo Bigarella, he is a well-respected, really well-respected developer in the jailbreak scene, and he's famous for tweaks such as Harlem Shake, Springtomize, Springtomize 2, all those good jailbreak tweaks and apps and all that kind of stuff. So I do follow him on Twitter, and he's been giving updates about certain things, and we have to talk about that now. So Springtomize 3. So Springtomize 3, essentially what that is they were actually going to make a Springtomize 2 update, but Filippo Bigarella just decided altogether that he was going to scrap that idea, because iOS 7 is so much different from iOS 6, and he just figured, I'm going to create an entirely different app called Springtomize 3, an entirely different tweak, and it's going to incorporate a lot of different things, and I'm going to call it Springtomize 3 instead. So he's been giving us updates, the past couple of weeks. So a couple of weeks ago, he said, he was on a bus and he said, it's 20% done, it's this and it's that. And then he basically said, can't exactly give an ETA on it because it's not done yet. So then, actually, I want to say as early as this morning, he actually tweeted out that he's actually almost 70 to 80% done. Done coding and developing Springtomize 3. So that's really interesting because that could mean it could be pushed out as early as tomorrow morning. We don't even know. So that's something really, really exciting to think about because Springtomize 3 is going to be doing so much. And it's really, some of the tweaks that are out there, there's going to be really no need for it because it's going to hide, I'm sure it's going to hide, the tabs on the lock screen, tab list, that's going to go away. As well as you're going to be able to change, the way the app icons look. You're going to be able to resize them. So some tweaks like Bigify, won't really have any relevance anymore. But yeah, so that's going to be really awesome. So Max, what do you think about that?
I had Springtomize 2 on my iPod Touch, which I just found yesterday. I know, surprising. It's been sitting in the same spot for since this summer. But I had it on my iTouch, and it was really cool tweak. I mean, that it was one of the first tweaks that I got on my iPod Touch. I mean, that's what really started my jailbreak experience, I guess you could say.
Uh-huh. So yeah, so it's one of those like I said, one of those timeless tweaks that if you're a jailbreak user, an avid jailbreak user, it's one of those timeless tweaks along with Barrel and a few others that you never really forget. And I think it will continue to be. And Filippo Bigarella is just a legend. I can't wait what he has in store for us for Springtomize 3. So that's pretty much it. Yeah, we have a few more topics to talk about before we wrap up. I guess one of the other topics we have to talk about is CES. Now, if you guys know, CES was, I believe it was, I think it started, I forget when it started, but it ended yesterday, CES 2014. And there was a lot of things that were announced. We're not going to go through them, but I just wanted to make an announcement saying that CES, just passed. And yeah, it was pretty cool. So yeah, I guess that basically wraps up episode 1 of our podcast.
Woohoo!
All right, so same time next week, Max?
Yep.
All right, see you, Max.
See ya.
Peace.
Peace.